Wayne Taylor. We are here celebrating the 20th anniversary of the first Petit Le Mans. A guy who looks a lot like you happened to be the winner of the inaugural event. First of all, how old do you feel knowing that we're celebrating this 20th anniversary? And more seriously, tell me about memories, because this is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it really is. You know, this was an event that Don came up with, and I'll never forget arriving at the track, and we were running a Ferrari, and I get out of my rental car, and Don says, "Come over here, Wayne, I want to show you something." And he goes to my Ferrari, and he points to where the engine, and he says, "Engine's in the wrong place, Wayne." I said, "Where should it be?" He says, "In the front, like my cars." I said, "Okay, let's see after the race." So anyway, it was a great event, but it started off in a very sad way because Fermin Velez, Eric van der Poel and I had done Le Mans together, and he'd become sick during the race. Yeah. And when we came back to test for this race, we had to check him, and unfortunately, everything that he tried, he would get sick. And so we brought on Emmanuel Collard, and unfortunately, this was the beginning of Fermin, getting cancer, and it was very sad to lose him a couple of years later, and knowing that his last race potentially would have been with me. So it was really, it was. And, winning it, first time ever, winning it in a Ferrari, and now 20 years later, running a team and having won it again as a team owner with my kids in 2014 or whatever it is, this is like a really special weekend. And being 20 years later, do I feel 20 years older? Oh boy, I do. Maybe 30 years older. But I still love the sport. I'm still passionate about it. I'm passionate about this event. But I can't remember being at a sports car race where there are so many really top-line sports car drivers from all over the world. So this is going to be a real great weekend.
So tell us a little bit about that 1998 Petit Le Mans. We had some really strong European entries come over. We had some American entries on the prototype front. We had two classes of GT cars. There's only a few people still here today competing, Bill Auberlen being one, Scott Maxwell, who's here in the Conti series. There aren't many who raced in that inaugural event, but tell us what it was like, the atmosphere, the cars. It must have been fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was actually behind Yannick Dalmas when the car took off.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you watch the video, you'll see me turning in between all the broken pieces. And of course, Michele Alboreto was here, who became a friend of mine. And Davy Jones was here with the Jaguars. I mean, it was great competition. The best part, there was no BOP. I mean, it was just brilliant. You build the best car, you put the best team, best drivers, and you go and win. And even in those days, I mean, for sure the Porsche was the fastest car, would probably lap the whole field. It didn't finish. The Panhard was really strong. It didn't finish. The other Porsche with Alboreto them finished, but they finished second to us. So, and then all the different categories. It was great racing in those days. And, there's nothing like having a sports car that's got 700 horsepower, loads of downforce, and just get on with it.
Last question for you. So here we are celebrating the 20th anniversary, obviously, at least with your personal entry into the record book for Petit Le Mans. Obviously, you need to take the start tomorrow. Your sons need to take the start, need to have no post-race technical infractions. But for the most part, we can say, barring something strange, your sons should become IMSA champions tomorrow and team championship and whatnot. Tell me about this, knowing that you kind of kicked things off in '98. They follow in the old man's tradition?
Yeah, they certainly do. They're just a lot better than I ever was. They're much more humble. They don't have an ego like their dad. I mean, they're just great kids, and they do a great job in the car. It's in one way, it's a little bit sort of flat going into this race, knowing where we are. So for us, yes, the championship is the number one goal, but always the goal for this team is always to go out and try and win every race. So, we have the NAC where there's only two cars in that championship, which happens to be the number 5 in us, and then there's 2 points separating us. So there's a bit of strategy around the NAC championship, but to me, the NAC championship is nothing like winning the overall championship. And then on top of that, if you look back at the winners of championships, there's not many that you'll find that win 5 in their championship year and also win Daytona and win Sebring. And so to come to Petit Le Mans being the last race and win that again would be just incredible.
At least he's not greedy, boys and girls. He doesn't just want everything. Oh, no, you do want everything.
I want everything. I tell the team every year, we got to win every race. And every year I tell them, guys, this is the biggest race of the year. In other words, make this place look like Penske. It's got to be better than Penske.